I got to record live yesterday with a local radio station here in Albany, New York, talking about a lot of the amazing stuff that we're doing here on YouTube, food related, and all that kind of stuff. It's Q105.7 Albany Classic Rock. I was there with BJ. There was a technical glitch, which I'll tell you about after I play through the entire thing here. Apparently it didn't go on air, but they're going to have me back, and I have footage from the entire interview. So without any ado, I'm going to play that right now.
The whole thing is like, we're kind of like, we go against the grain a little bit. So you're sneaking out for like an early lunch or whatever.
Okay.
Really, it's like, I use it as like a time to like, bring in guests, do requests, like just like have fun, take calls and stuff like that. Q1057 and 1035, the Capital Region's classic rock station. It is Vinyl Vault Thursday there. A little Argent to get you going here during the early lunch hour. BJ's my name, and I'm joined in studio by a good friend of mine, Jerry Papandrea, who is here, and I would call him a expert when it comes to food and when it comes to telling you the good food that you should be trying to consume, right? Is that accurate?
I mean, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I do like to help people elevate their eats.
So I would say that anybody who is an actual expert would say that they're not going to call themselves an expert. So there is that.
Fair enough.
Jerry, you are big over on YouTube. Why don't you tell everybody where they can follow you?
Sure. If you look up on YouTube, Jerry Papandrea or at DairyXDines, you'll find me on YouTube. I have videos ranging from gas station hot dogs all the way to kind of fine dining, tapas, and a lot of different stuff, as well as recipes and things like that.
I think that gas station hot dogs is fine dining. I would say that gas station hot dogs is sometimes top tier material.
Yes.
So I don't think you can go wrong with that. But we're going to talk to Jerry about some food. We're going to talk to him about the Capital Region and all that other good stuff coming up this hour during the early lunch with 57 minutes nonstop classic rock continues now. Sweet. So the questions that I have for you in the more long form, let's see, are the best thing or your favorite food item that you've reviewed here in the Capital Region.
Okay.
And then we can also talk about how you've gone all over the place and reviewed food in the rest of the country too. But our whole thing here is like local and everything, so we want to maintain that. I do have a question from Facebook for what is the more iconic Capital Region food, mini hot dogs or Melba sauce?
That guy's my buddy from high school.
Oh, okay, that's a good one. And let's see, is there a food place here in the Capital Region that you would like to review but haven't had a chance yet? So those are the kind of questions, and that one will be kind of like my end question, which we end everything and go from there. So the Capital Region's classic rock station with 57 minutes of nonstop classic rock. BJ is my name. It is the early lunch here in studio with Jerry Papandrea, local food blogger and reviewer. And Jerry, I think one of the first things that I saw you do was probably your Italian sub review. And you went to a number of places around the Capital Region and tried various Italian subs. So I had to follow your trail that you had left behind and try them myself, because I feel like that's the thing that you have to do, right? I mean, that's the point of what you're doing with the food reviews.
Yeah, my whole thing is I don't claim to be like the ultimate resource on things. I know what I like, and I know how to highlight the things that you may like. And if you like it, then it kind of, we're a good match. And if not, then maybe I'm not the foodie for you.
Yeah. So are you a native Capital Region, or are you a transplant?
I'm originally from Orange County, New York. And I came up here in 1997 for college. I went to Siena, and then I went to grad school at RPI, and I kind of stayed in the area since then.
Oh, okay, great. So in your journey of looking at different foods here in the Capital Region, is there like a favorite one that you love to review the most? Well, I guess your favorite one that you have reviewed is the question.
So I think in terms of like, there's my favorite, and then there's what the audience has as a favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's kind of an overlap there. I love the mini hot dogs in the area, kind of the Hot Dog Charlie's, Gus's famous lunch.
Sure.
That's kind of one of those things that I love highlighting that, and I love stumbling upon a place that makes stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that actually is getting some national views as far as the YouTube channel goes,
okay.
which I love because it's like a local thing.
Yeah.
But in terms of like favorite things I've liked to review in the area here, I kind of just like getting stuff that you can easily pick up, like Italian subs, something that translates beyond here, because our area does do a lot of that stuff really well. There's a lot of Italian in the area, a lot of hot dog history. So I love stuff like that.
Which hot dog place is your go-to if you had to pick one?
Oh, that's really tough. I would say Hot Dog Charlie's just because
Yeah.
that was kind of my first because it was in the malls.
Yes, yes.
So that was what I discovered first, and it kind of branched out from there. But between Hot Dog Charlie's Famous Lunch and Gus's, those are kind of the three big ones. But you can also get those type of mini dogs at Ted's Fish Fry as well.
That's true.
And all four of those are kind of you can kind of roll a dice, and they're all great.
Well, now coming up, we actually have a question about mini hot dogs, comparing them to something else here in the capital region, and what would be more iconic. We're going to talk more with Jerry about that coming up on the early lunch right here on Q1057 and 1035. I'm Hot Dog Charlie's too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what
That's
it is?
what I grew up with.
So I've done all three of them individually, and I've done all three of them back to back, and it literally, like, from day to day, it can swing either way for all three of those.
What is it? My one friend Jillian tried to get me like super into Famous Lunch, which I like Famous Lunch a lot, but I think Hot Dog Charlie's for me, it was like when it was in Crossgates, right? So I would go to Crossgates with my brother when I first started driving, and we would want to get food, and there'd be no one in line.
Yeah.
At that.
Yep.
And that's why I would go to Hot Dog Charlie's, because I was like, there's nobody in line. I'm going to go there. And then I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
Why haven't been eating this food forever, you know?
And it was right next to Wendy's, which the line was always like way back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Q1057 and 1035, the Capital Region's classic rock station, with you on the early lunch today. BJ is my name, in studio with local food blogger Jerry Papandrea, where you can find him on YouTube, where he's got reviews not only from here in the Capital Region, but from everywhere around the country too. You've been to a lot of states reviewing a lot of different styles of food, right?
Yeah. So I've right now I have a Philly playlist. I have an Anaheim and Disney California playlist, and I also have Outer Banks, which is funny because I've been doing the Capital Region for almost 15 years now, and Outer Banks for like 2 or 3, and I get recognized down there more than I do up here, which is kind of funny. It is.
Capital Region, get it together, man! Come on, what are you doing? You're letting them get absorbed by the Outer Banks.
Not doing this for the recognition.
All right, so we do have a question from Facebook from Greg. All right, so we were talking about mini hot dogs before, and you and I were talking off air about how much we love mini hot dogs, but what is the more iconic Capital Region food? Is it mini hot dogs, or is it Melba sauce?
Oh, that's kind of a funny one.
Yeah.
When I came to the area, so I grew up about 2 hours south of here, and there was no such thing as mozzarella Melba sauce, and this is the mid-90s.
Yeah.
So when I came here and had that the first time, it kind of blew my mind. It was like you get that sweet along with the fried, crunchy mozzarella sticks, and it's a classic. I would say, though, just because there's less places doing it now and making their own homemade, I would say that's probably a little less iconic than the mini hot dogs in the area. The mini hot dogs in the area have been around for hundreds of years, or at least 100 years at one of the places. So I would say that's probably the most iconic.
I would agree with you. I think the mini hot dogs are more iconic than Melba sauce, but I think Melba sauce is unique to this area because you don't see that in other places at all.
No.
Like, whenever I tell somebody that you get it with like the Melba sauce, they're like, what? No, marinara. And I'm like, you got to try it with the Melba sauce, and then you can tell me whether or not you still want the marinara, you know?
Yep.
I think that's perfect. So, all right, guys, we've got 57 minutes of nonstop classic rock coming up for you next right here on Q1057 and 1035. I've got Christina Talamo from NYT coming in next week to do this too.
Oh, cool.
The weather person.
Awesome.
So the weather people are fun to do it. They're like so like, yes, I'm like gung-ho about coming in to do stuff, and I feel like it's because they do like the one thing on the news.
Yeah.
And then that's like it. So it's like fun for them to be able to do something else.
Yeah.
Too.
Before I go, I want to get a couple clips.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for you that
Okay.
I'll use for a reel or a short.
Okay. Q1057 and 1035, the Capital Region's classic rock station. It is Vinyl Vault Thursday there with the Rolling Stones. BJ is my name, and Jerry Papandrea is getting ready to head out, but we have one more question for him before he goes, and he goes to review more delicious food around here in the Capital Region. My question, Jerry, is there a place in the Capital Region that you haven't had a chance to review, or a type of food that you haven't had a chance to review that you really want to, almost like a bucket list item?
Yeah, so this is actually a really good question. I guess I can give the cop-out answer and say the next place I want to go to is wherever you tell me to go. But I really want to do a little bit more of the plated dinner type stuff.
Okay.
right now my content, just because I don't want to be disruptive in restaurants and set up a camera and lighting and all that stuff. That I kind of do stuff that I can either take out or I can get clips, while I'm eating and the
Sure.
lighting is good and stuff. But I'd like to go to more sit down restaurants and do stuff like that. Maybe even some of the classic places like DP, Yono, or some of the newer places that are out there as well.
Okay. Now, so listen, if you guys are listening and you happen to either work at one of those or maybe you own one of those and you want Jerry to review it, like, why don't you let us know? You can send me a message on that free Q1057 and 1035 app, or you can reach out to Jerry directly. You can follow him over on social, right? What's your handle?
On social, you can find me at DairyX. On YouTube, it's at DairyXDines.
All right, guys. So, Jerry, thank you so much for coming in and joining me today. This has been a lot of fun. We've learned a lot about the different types of foods and things like that. And one quick thing, I did see you did. Did you literally get kicked out of that restaurant in Texas when you were doing your filming? Was that what happened there?
So it wasn't that I got kicked out. What happened was I filmed an entire review of a restaurant that it's a Brooklyn pizzeria that now is a chain that I found in Texas while I was attending Vid Summit. And, I've been dying to review this place forever. And I got my footage. And on the way out, I wanted to get a little bit of footage of their wood-fired oven. Sure. But I didn't ask permission. And the guy basically told me, we don't allow filming in here, which is funny because I got literally 45 minutes worth of footage to, highlight their food.
Man, that's crazy. I'm surprised that they wouldn't want filming. I'm seeing that more and more, though. Certain restaurants are saying, like, there's a lot of coffee shops out there that are saying they don't want filming and all that other stuff, too. Maybe they just don't want, like, the headache or something. I don't know what it would be, so.
I can understand. I mean, a lot of people, maybe the staff doesn't want to be on camera, and I'm good about, filming around that.
Yeah.
But also, if their prep area might not be tidy, it's another one of those things. Not that I'm accusing them of that. It's just, I can understand not wanting random people filming in their restaurant.
Well, try not to get kicked out of any more restaurants, all right? And we will talk to you again soon here, but thank you for coming in and spending some time with us.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. That was perfect.
Awesome.
That's so funny. You know what's hilarious about that is, like, so Reed also, when he was in, brought up mini hot dogs too.
Really?
When he was here. Yeah, it was so funny.
When you think about it, in terms of our area, there aren't too many things that are unique to here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of those only things. And even within, like, the scope of hot dogs, like that, I mean, there are hot dogs with meat sauce. There are hot dogs with chili sauce.
Yeah.
We distinguish what they are here. Like, it's not chili.
Yeah.
And, like, even in other areas, they're not the mini hot dogs. They're longer hot dogs and things like that.
You know what's funny is that I lived out in Massachusetts for a little bit, in New Bedford, Massachusetts, down going towards the Cape.
Yeah.
And they are big on hot dogs too. But it's not mini, it is long. And so in New Bedford, they grill them, right? But then the next city over in Fall River, steamed.
Yep.
And that's the difference.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a YouTube channel that stole one of my videos for the footage, and they did all of the hot dogs in the area, and they took, like, 2-second clips so that you really don't notice that they stole it.
Did you get them to have it demonetized? Because somebody stole one of my videos once and did it, and I sent YouTube a cease and desist. I was like, hey, like, they took my video. Like,
you could claim it. I did, but they disputed it, and I'm like, you know what? It's only a couple seconds, and it's here and there, and if anything, it'll bring some attention to it.
Yeah.
But in that video, they show, like, 5 or 6 different hot dogs that are essentially the same exact thing, but they're in Michigan or, this and that. And it's essentially these Greek immigrants that were doing it 100 years ago, and they just just fanned out and started doing it elsewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So the mini hot dogs or the hot dog trend, that's a Greek immigrant thing?
Yeah. And it's funny, when I did the Gus's video, this is now almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody from Greece commented and said, "That's my cousin. I've been looking for her for a long time."
You should have been looking at Gus's.
Yeah, I know.
That's hilarious.
All right, so here's my 2 questions.
Okay.
All right, BJ. Explain to me what your optimal Italian sub is.
Oh, my optimal Italian sub. Okay. It's gotta have the gabagool. It's gotta have that on there. It's gotta have mortadella, obviously. Red onion is big for me. The dressing has to soak it a little bit. I want it to be soaked in that. I want to taste vinegariness. I don't want, like, a straight Italian dressing on there. Genoa salami, I want that on there too. And provolone cheese. I don't want mozzarella cheese. I know that a lot of people put that on there. That's what I want. But optimal, a little bit of crusty bread, but soft in the middle. Let that dressing or vinegar soak in. Ugh, and the tomatoes got to be on point too.
All right, and Tony Soprano, alive or dead?
Tony Soprano is alive.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
The whole thing is
that was a lot of fun. I love doing stuff like that, interviews, local stuff. I've been getting integrated with stuff like that since 2010 when I've been doing this. I was highlighted a couple times with local newspapers and things like that. So, if you have any way to get me to do more type of stuff like that, I'd love to do that, podcast and things like that. One of the things when we were talking during the interview there, I gave my take on my optimal Italian sub, and I'm not very picky. I mean, if you've seen the Italian sub playlist, you may think I'm picky, but for me, an Italian sub just has to have a base of ham, salami, and provolone. When you get cute and start doing pepperoni and salami and ham capicola and stuff like that, it's good and it could be good, but for me, it's more about technique. Nice sliced meats, nice and piled, not really like slapped on in layers. I don't like that. And I told that to BJ as well. And we talked a little bit about the technique on that type of stuff. So that was a lot of fun. There was a technical glitch yesterday. I got a message. I rushed home to try to hear it live. And I was having trouble with the stream. So then I played it on one of my Google Homes because you could stream radio stations on there. And I wasn't hearing the parts. I was hearing the music. I love classic rock. But I wasn't hearing it. I got a message from him and he's like, there's something happened with the audio and it didn't work out. We'll have to have you come back in. And, it wasn't going to work out today as far as the timing, but I'll be back there doing this again in a couple of weeks. And I'll make sure to leave a link in the community page here if you want to listen to that live. But I have the footage and you guys just saw it. If you like that, make sure you hit a thumbs up. If I do more of this type of stuff, I'll make sure to capture footage if I can and share that with you guys. But thanks so much for watching. Hit like, subscribe, become a member if you want to get into the tighter knit community here. We have the membership growing here. It's just $5 a month. And I'll see you guys in the next one.